So I actually live in the cities, but I always find these little places of nature that are like stuck, inside them and nobody goes to. It's like some apartment building behind me, some houses over there. I mean, it's raining right now. I like to be outside. I've been outside a lot. I've been outside a lot. Sorry, it's still early, but I had a dream that I don't think I'm gonna talk about. I'm just gonna let it go. It had like a war museum in it, and some crazy zombie type people and dead people. Probably because I was playing Call of Duty Zombies last night, but they weren't Nazis. They were just like little girls with like holes in their face, like a big mouth. And I was looking for a Panzer the whole time. But I thought maybe if I could do it right, I would tell the dream that is my most favorite dream I've ever had in my entire life. And it also kind of opened up my mind to the idea of like infinite realities, parallel dimensions, that kind of thing. So I had this dream. It was like, I think it was when I was like anywhere from 16 to 18, around there. And I remember falling asleep that night and kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen, I hope you have, but if you haven't seen it, go see Stargate, the movie. And I fell asleep and I kind of was like sucked backwards in a way. Kind of like the gate, and I like shot through something, some sort of void or whatever. And then instantly I woke up somewhere else. And I was pretty confused. But as I was awake longer, I forgot details of this life and started to remember details of where I was at, that I woke up. And I was still me, except it was like post-apocalyptic, which happens a lot in my dreams, but this was different. There was fucking dinosaurs running around. Some parts of it that I remember is I remember looking out the window and seeing like the odd dinosaur running down the street, dilapidated cars and stuff. I had this little apartment that was like completely sealed up with iron walls and stuff. And I had like little plants growing inside of it. I had a little strip of carpet. I didn't have a dog, which is, I guess not surprising. I don't know. And how I would get to this apartment was I would crawl through a ventilation shaft that led into it. And I had a really nice, what was it, a P90? No. Fuck. That Belgian bullpup rifle. I had one of those. Oh, it's starting to rain really hard now. I'll try to make it quick. So I knew like 2 other people, and they lived in this apartment building with me, but the only way to get to their apartments was, their rooms, was to crawl through this ventilation shaft, this ventilation duct, which was like, I don't know, I want to say it was like 2 feet by 1 feet. It was pretty small. And we'd meet, in our apartments, in one of the apartments, and it was a black guy and a blonde girl, and we were 3 survivors. We didn't know any other people at all. It kind of seemed like we were either raised that way, or It was just the way it was, and we never questioned it. We never thought about the idea that other people existed. Never talked about other survivors or anything like that. Not looking for them, nothing. We would go on missions to find soup cans and shit, but it was extremely dangerous. And I remember one time we were running away back into the apartment building and there was like a velociraptor, which I don't remember how big if it was smaller or bigger than the ones in the movies, but it was like dodging, running in and out of these apartment hallways and complexes and stuff. Obviously trying to eat us. I never fired a shot, but I can remember. And I remember we would just hang out all the time and tell stories and stuff, and mainly talk about our dreams, because that was our entertainment. And I was telling him about this dream that I had that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And I told him how I went to sleep and I woke up as me in this reality, in this life, and there was people everywhere, and they thought that was like amazing. They're like, whoa, really? More than us? And they're like, yeah, there's people everywhere. And no dinosaurs, and they thought that was pretty neat too. And they were asking me questions. I remember we used to speculate on like what cars were, what the ancients used them for, and stuff like that. And we didn't know that they were vehicles that moved. They never moved, so we never saw them move. We never thought that they could move. And I was like telling them, I was like, yeah, people would get into these bubbles, and they would move the earth for you. They would move everything around you until you got where you were going. Like, I had weird ways of explaining it because I didn't understand it. And they were just mystified by this shit. It was like the absolute most entertaining story that we had ever talked about. And I was pretty sure I was in love with that blonde girl, and we had like a thing. And yeah, I was telling him about this life and how I woke up here, and everything that I had done the day before I fell asleep that night was a dream in that reality. Cigarette's going out. So, I mean, I wish there were more details I could tell you about that reality. I don't remember them. I don't remember any more than that, but the cool thing was, when I went to sleep again in the dinosaur world, I felt all my memories fading from that life and then regaining all the ones from this life. And then I woke up here with like a few from this dinosaur realm or whatever. And that's when I thought parallel universes, parallel dimensions or whatever might possibly exist, and different versions of us running around doing stuff. But yeah, most amazing dream I ever had, very cool. And it's raining like a son of a bitch now. Buster's getting all wet. Yeah, I should probably go. But anyway, that was the coolest dream I've had. Catch you guys later.